Attention drivers, you'd be surprised to know that hit and runs by 18-wheelers are way more common than you thought they were.
Within minutes of this early morning crash, San Antonio police were calling it a crime. They say the compact Ford was rear-ended after 5:30 this morning by an 18-wheeler that didn't stop. The 40-year-old woman behind the wheel of the car was killed. Police, meanwhile, were on the case investigating and also searching from the sky for the big rig. Hours later, a phone call about a suspicious truck would lead them downtown. A banged-up big rig parked at Crockett and Bowie Streets.
You can see extensive damage on this 18-wheeler, and still pieces of the victim's car are caught underneath the rear wheel.
Police believe the driver had to know he was dragging something with him. They say he drove this way for about 20 miles. The driver ran away.
Well, we all like to think about the driver when we think about liability. That's because in most car accidents and truck accidents, we blame the driver. It makes sense. However, the truck driver may not be the only party that is responsible for your damages. If that trucker has multiple driving violations or issues that should have tipped off the employer that the trucker is in fact dangerous to the public, then the trucking company may be liable for negligent hiring and retention.
Thus, there may be multiple potential defendants in a given trucking accident case.
Florida Highway Patrol's report tells us this semi-tractor trailer was attempting to change lanes down Highway 17 when the driver clipped this black Toyota Avalon, causing the car and the 50-year-old woman driver from Jacksonville to spin out of control onto the shoulder, hitting a wooden support pole. She was pronounced deceased at the scene. FHP says a Clay County deputy responded to help the woman. He noticed the semi-truck driver continuing down Highway 17, failing to stop. Eventually, he'd get the driver to pull over. FHP says the driver was cooperating during interviews, but has been arrested for leaving the scene. We can tell you the truck is from Pennsylvania and part of the Evans Delivery Company. According to reports from the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, they employ over 3,800 drivers, and in the past 24 months have been involved in 124 crashes resulting in injury, including 10 fatal. We called corporate headquarters, which is about 2 hours from Philadelphia, about where this driver was headed or coming from, and the driver leaving the scene, and did not hear back.
Back at the scene of the accident, the look of shock on the paramedics and police's face of my being able to walk away gave way to a moment of human spirituality. The fact that I survived where so many were ended in similar circumstances did not miss me. For the simple or complex reason that I made it meant I have a responsibility to those that did not make it. Now that I had to give up on finding the driver responsible, it's time to switch focus to the industry itself, and not to forget our trusty government that will risk all in protection of its citizens in the face of heartless capitalism. The first why I asked is, why did he leave? The industry notoriously punishes reckless drivers, yet it works them to death, which isolates drivers, possibly desensitizing them to common drivers that they encounter. So I exist as an obstacle in the shape of a car. Traffic is seen as an opponent to truckers' completion of delivery, which time is probably a second to safe driving. So in an indirect way, the industry causes drivers to drive aggressively. Hell, they encourage aggressive driving by driver expectations. One of my housemates mentioned that these 18-wheelers of today come equipped with cameras all around them. Initially, I was like, well, why would that mean anything to me? And so I informed him really quickly that if there are cameras surrounding these vehicles, they're not for us. They're not for the cars driving around them. They're for the protection of the trucking companies. That's why you'll only see videos online that represent one side of this mini camera scenario, like this right here. Only when it's the fault of the car driver will they reveal this. And besides that, what company in this capitalist society is seeking to be sued? Ain't no company gonna go out there and volunteer to be sued. That being understood, could some of the smaller, shady trucking companies encourage drivers not to stop, training them to continue as if nothing happened? Are truck drivers rewarded for successfully evading responsibility for their accidents? To answer that question, I present yet another question. Who benefits the most from a semi-truck leaving the scene of an accident that they caused? The driver or the company they work for? And worse than that, who benefits when a truck driver ends a person in a car and flees the scene successfully? So does this create an industry incentive to ignore your humanity, knowing the power that you possess being a truck driver on the road with general population?
Oh my goodness.
Are truck drivers rewarded for successfully evading responsibility for their accidents? If you call maintaining your job stability and lifestyle a reward after you hurt or end people not following the rules, then yes, they are incentivized. I wouldn't be surprised if in some shady, smaller trucking companies that they're trained their drivers to never stop. The incentive for not stopping for these truck drivers and their companies is that most other drivers on the road at the time of an accident would be focused on the victim, not the perpetrator. The victim, if survived, like myself, would be blinded immediately by airbag deployment. In modern cars, they cover all windows, so surviving victims' blindness would allow smooth getaway as long as they just keep going. There's a greater possibility that the truck driver and the company are safe to continue business as usual, especially in the face of a driver's ending, which I believe the person that ended my life for the moment was hoping as he watched my car he beat up fading away in his rear view.
A dead man tells no tales.
He probably said as he blinked me out of existing in his head.
Fucking idiots, motherfucker, here we go! God damn it! God damn, that dude is not okay. Motherfucker.
Freelance truckers are people who purchase their own big rigs. It said their benefits are more pay and control of their work schedule. Freelance drivers, as self-employed, have even more incentive to make a clean getaway.
Because the truck belongs to them, that makes them both driver and trucking company owner,
With no supervisor oversight.
ending their income.